worked out the general direction and the general tilt of the dish, pointing out there generally in northerly direction. If we go over here to this side of the dish, we'll see down here there's a scale. Up the top here is an 85, and we use that mark there because we have an 85 centimetre dish, and this is the degree scale for the elevation of the satellite. According to the app, it's somewhere around about 47, I think it was. So we've put it around about 45, 46. That's a good enough starting point because we're going to fine tune it. This is the LMB on the front of the dish. Ours is about, 10, 12 years old, I suppose. We've got a smiley face on the front because we're always on holiday, so we're always smiling. On the top of it are the markings for the skew of the LMB, and each of those markings on this particular, it's a strong brand, on each of the markings is 5 degrees. In this particular location, the skew according to the app is 20, so that's four of those bars, and we're roughly, so there's the middle of it there, so around about 3 or 4. It's fairly forgiving, that, so anywhere near that is going to be probably good enough. We haven't touched that skew for months. So now what we'll do now, all we've got is a coax that's plugged straight into the side of a van, and we're going to use our little tiny dish finder here, which is the $5 eBay jobby, and it'll go between. So what we're going to do is we'll plug it in into the satellite finder. On the back of the device it says to the receiver and to the LMB, so you can't get it wrong. Well, you can get it wrong, but if you read it you won't get it wrong. It plugs into the lead in the bottom of the LMB, so that's now just in the middle of that circuit. Turn the little dial up until you get some noise and some movement on that scale. How much movement is irrelevant. If you just zoom in there a little bit, you'll be able to hear the squealing. And then we'll get Barb to move back a little bit, and I'll adjust the dish somewhere. All we're doing is moving it slightly up, slightly down, slightly left, slightly right. So back the screws off a little bit here. So I've got a bit of movement until that thing starts squealing and the dial starts moving up a little bit. We've got a problem with our old connections. You can hear it moving up now. So we give it a bit of a twist backwards and forwards. So that's about as good as it's going to get in the elevation. And now we're going left to right. Give it a wiggle, left to right. And that's going to be about as good as it gets. So then we can lock that up because we're on the right satellite, because we've started off in the general direction. The Wikicamps app always seems to be a little bit to the right of where the satellite actually is. So if you're using the Wikicamps app, the Wikicap app is going to tell you it's there, but it's probably slightly to the left. Give it a bit of a tweak, and you can see that that thing's just moving backwards and forwards across its sweet spot, and up and down is the same. Actually, we can crank it up a little bit. Hang on, I'll undo that screw. The actual numbers mean nothing. It's just the highest amount you can get. You want to keep it around sort of the top end because it's a bit louder and you can hear it a bit easier. And that's about it. We're done. So then what we can do now, we don't need this device in here anymore. Unplug it, take it out, and plug the coax straight back in, and we're done. And if we go inside, we'll have a picture, in theory.